Hello guys, Namaste. I'm Gumot. Welcome back. Today, I'm taking you to the OMSI Museum, which stands for Oregon Museum of Science and Industry. We have arrived to the OMSI Science Museum. We paid $5 for the parking fees and we're entering. Inside, we bought yellow wristbands that allow us to go anywhere in the museum. Here we have entered the first room. On the first table, there are 4 different puzzles that are very complicated to solve. In this section of the room, there were lots of little tables set up. On each table, there was an iPad where you can design your own room. Next, there was this big bulletin board with lots of little slits of paper and pencils spread out. You take a slit of paper, and on the paper, you write a place you want to design for people to easily do stuff. And then you stick it with magnets on top of the bulletin board. In this next section, there was a long pipe that had 4 ends to it. One person talked into one of the ends, and the other person listened. The sound waves would travel through the pipe to the other person. Here, there was another set of hard puzzles to solve. This next activity was we have to create a shelter for a person who wants to survive in an earthquake. Now we came into this room, which was kind of like a giant music room. There were long strings which symbolized harp strings and made different sounds depending on which button you clicked. You can even change the light's color using the buttons. Now we came to this part where there were 4 long poles. On each pole, there was a small tube blowing air. There was also a small bucket next to the tube that held lots of light balls. If you put a light ball on top of the tube, then it pulls it outward, and it looks like that the ball's floating. Now we came to my favorite part. It is that you can change your shadow depending on where or which part of the board you stand on. The board is divided into 3 main colors: blue, pink, and green. Depending on where you stand between the colors, it changes your shadow's color. Isn't that amazing? There were lots of magnets in the middle of the room where you can build. Now we came to this lit up table in the middle of the room, and there were magnets there. You can build your own buildings and huts with these magnets. Here we need to place a nail in the hole and build a structure with the rest of the nails that will balance on the head of the upright nail. Now we went inside a platform which had some buttons. If you want to experience how a real earthquake feels, you can click each of the buttons. The platform will move and it will feel like you were in an earthquake. Now we went into a chemistry lab. We had to wear goggles before entering. There was this color-changing touch board. If you put your hand on it, the color will change from green to blue. Here we had to do an experiment. It is called foam peanuts. First, we put a bit of water, styrofoam, biofoam, and popcorn into each of the cups. Now we add some iodine to each of the cups. Then we mix. We had to see which substance will dissolve with the iodine and have a bluish color. Here there were really cool lava lamps. Here is a blanket with a periodic table drawn on it, so that you can sleep under the elements. Here I'm showing this interesting wall clock. Here they arranged all 12 elements according to their atomic number, like hydrogen's 1, helium's 2, Next, we went to the physics lab. This was one of my favorite activities in the physics lab. It is called a plasma tube. If you move your hand up and down on the tube, then the lightning will follow your fingertips. But there is a warning. If somebody touches you while you're playing with the plasma tube, they might get an electric shock, and so might you. Now we came to the Telegraph. My sister was sitting on the other side, and I had to write a message to her using Morse code, which is a code used to communicate with a telegraph. I'm going to send my sister this message. Hello. I'm going to spell each letter using Morse code. On the other side, my sister will receive my message and she will write it down on the piece of paper. is called a harmonograph. I put the piece of paper underneath the pen and I sway its two arms. The pen will start moving and they will create a nice design on top of my paper. This was a small model of how a baby changes inside the mother's stomach. Here you can see the transparent woman. Next, we went to the Life Lab. Inside the Life Lab, there are lots of different creatures, even preserved butterflies. There are real, dead spiders and cockroaches too. There's also big venomous snakes and different turtles and fishes. There's even shedded snakeskin. Here there was a microscope. You put the slide underneath the microscope and you can increase its focus and also decrease it. Next, we came into this place where there were lots of different kinds of minerals and rocks. This is a real lunar sample. Now we came into the science playground where there were lots of activities. Here I'm launching this rocket. It's fun. Here we can build our own boat. And here we came to this model of the gas giant Jupiter. And that was our last destination for today. Now we're heading back home. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to comment. Thanks for watching. Bye!